Hi everybody, welcome to engVid.com. I'm Adam. Today's lesson is a bit of a lesson in pronunciation, and it may be a little bit confusing, so I'm just giving you a little bit of a warning. But I'm going to show you how to properly pronounce phrasal verbs. And again, what are phrasal verbs? These are verb and preposition combinations that often have different meanings. So today I'm not going to show you phrasal verbs and their different meanings. I'm going to show you how pronouncing these phrasal verbs can change their meanings and can give you a bit of a clue as to what meaning the person is intending when the person uses it. So it's going to be a little bit tricky to pick up the slight differences. So it's a little bit more of an advanced lesson, and especially for those living in an English-speaking country, right? Because you're going to hear these phrasal verbs a lot, and sometimes they're not even phrasal verbs. Sometimes they're actually just compound nouns or adjectives. So you need to be able to hear the difference when you can't actually see the words. Like here, you can very clearly see the two words are separated. Here, you can very clearly see that it's one word. But when all you're doing is listening, you have to hear that gap. You have to hear that combination, that conjunction, right? So I'm going to show you a few things to keep in mind. And then it's all about practice, practice, practice. Speak with native speakers, watch movies, watch TV shows, etc. So we're going to start with the phrasal verb come on. And you'll notice I wrote it slightly different ways. This is a very common expression, come on. And many people actually write it like this in a very informal style. This is technically not correct, but because this is how the word is pronounced, many people just write it this way, and you will see it sometimes in informal things. So when someone says, come on, especially like if you say to a dog, come on, come on, or if you say to a little kid, come on, come to me, right? So we're not really pronouncing, we're not stressing the full phrasal verb. We're not saying come on. We don't separate. We make the first word very small and we put a little bit more stress on the second part of it, on the second syllable, as the case may be, when we're saying them quickly, right? So, and we're joining the two sounds. And especially when you'll notice you have a consonant and you have a vowel, and whenever you have words that end in a consonant and a vowel, the consonant blends into the next vowel. But that's, we have a video about that as well. So, come on means come. Now, sometimes, and this is not the correct spelling, I wrote it just to show you, come on, right? If I say come on, and I'm stressing the second syllable, not the verb, I'm stressing the preposition. And generally, we put more stress on the preposition because come has many phrasal verbs. Come on, come out, come in, come over, all kinds of difference. So we put a little bit extra stress on the preposition so we have the correct phrasal verb that's understood. But when I say, come on, okay, actually that's going to be this one. Come on. I'm showing that I don't actually believe what you're saying. Something you're saying is unbelievable. Not that I think you're lying, just that the thing is so surprising that it's hard to believe. Come on. Like you're joking, right? That's how the pronunciation would sound. And again, a lot of it should be clear in terms of context. If somebody is saying something that sounds unbelievable and someone reacts like this, you understand they're saying, oh, you're kidding, or that's unbelievable. Sometimes we do separate the two words, but we do this for emphasis. Come on. If somebody says, come on, it means they're very frustrated, right? Let's say I'm watching my favorite hockey team play, and they're doing well, and then suddenly they start sucking, right? And they're not playing so well, and the other team starts scoring goals. And every time the other team gets a goal, come on. Like I'm very frustrated, I'm very angry with my team because they suck, right? As the case may be. Sometimes we only stress the second word. Come on. It basically means hurry up, hurry. If I'm stressing this, I'm stressing the fact that I want the person to hurry. And again, you'll see 4 different meanings for the same phrasal verb, but a lot of the times the way it sounds will tell you which of the meanings is actually being used. Now, I'm going to show you a few more examples just to get a better idea of this. So, cut above. Now, if someone says cut above the line, it means cut above a particular area. It's the very straightforward verb. It's not a phrasal verb in terms of idiomatic. It doesn't have a second meaning. It's very literal. Cut above a certain level. But if someone says a cut above, the T, again, remember you have a consonant, you have a vowel, so it blends. A cut above sounds like it could be a compound noun, but it isn't. We have just the cut. The cut is the noun. Above is basically like a adjective in this particular case. It is a preposition, but it's working like an adjective. This is an expression. If something is a cut above, it means it's a little bit better than average. So first of all, the should give you a hint that you're hearing a noun, not a phrasal verb. And the fact that we blend it into one, a cut above, I'm not stressing either one. I'm just using the expression, a cut above. Okay, that's a very flat stress. Cut above the line. Here, I'm going to stress the above because I want to very clearly say where to make the cut. Now, make up and make up. Same thing. When I put it very quickly together, even though the K and the U will blend, okay, just kiss and make up. I'm still stressing, I'm putting the stress on the preposition to show that it's the meaning that I want to express. Whereas make up, I'm putting the stress more on the first syllable, but generally it's pretty neutral. It's a one word, right? So it's a two-syllable word, but with one stress on the whole word. So make up is the stuff you put on your face. Make up means to make peace. Like if somebody had a fight and then suddenly they're okay. Or you have to make up your test. In this case, I will put the stress on both. I want to stress the verb, but I also want to stress the up because that's the meaning I want to express. You have to make up the test. You have to do the test that you missed, maybe do it next week, etc. Or don't make up stories. A little bit neutral, don't make up stories. Don't create stories out of nothing. Make up. So generally speaking, when you have a phrasal verb, you're going to stress the preposition unless you want to emphasize the actual verb itself. Same with back up and backup. Don't forget to back up your files on your computer. Back up means back up. I'm stressing the up more. Move backwards. Back up, I'm stressing the action of doing something, the backing, the making the copy. Whereas backup, if you have a backup, this is a noun or a backup copy, adjective, right? But then, and again, it's blending here and it's also blending here, but here I don't hear the break. Backup. It sounds like one syllable for the one word. Whereas here, I definitely have a stress. Back up. I don't know if you can hear the difference. Back up your files, back up, move away. Different meanings depending on the stress. Go for it. Now, go for it means don't hesitate. Try. I'm stressing the go. Go for it. For it, I'm stressing when I stress the for it, I'm stressing the thing you want to try. I'm stressing that thing. So there's an opening for a job at Google. So, go for it. Go for the job. There's a job at Google, but I'm not sure if I should try. Go for it. I'm stressing the go, like don't hesitate. So it depends which one I stress will illustrate which meaning I'm trying to get across. Now, of course, it's very easy for me to say all this stuff. You have to hear the different stresses. You have to pay attention to the context that the words are being used in order to understand the meaning that the speaker is trying to convey, right? And the only way to do that is to practice. Now, unfortunately, because we don't have audio on the website, I can't make a quiz for this lesson. But if you want to ask me questions about this, you can go to engVid.com and there's a comment section. You can ask questions there. You can also give each other combinations and try to figure out which stress will deliver which meaning. But the most important thing is watch movies, watch the news, speak to native speakers, and pay attention to how they are using phrasal verbs and which meaning they're definitely trying to express by how they say it, by which side they are stressing, right? Again, I know it's not easy, but hopefully you'll train your ear to get all these differences, okay? If you like the video, I hope you like this video, give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll try to give you some more pronunciation lessons, vocab lessons, etc. Till next time, bye-bye.